We were always seen as the kind of a cool, small thing, and I sort of see cool is kind of another word for small in a lot of ways. So we've never wanted to be small. We've never had that in our outlook. We've always wanted to think we think our content should be seen by tens, if not hundreds of millions of people. So as Barry said, we were called the Voice of Montreal, 16-page newsprint, one-colour fanzine. I think we printed 2,000 copies originally. It wasn't very good, as I said, but it was inauspicious beginnings to where we've come to now, which is this. We're slightly unusual in the publishing scape in that we weren't really driven by advanced marketing, which a lot of companies do. They'll look at other markets, go to the licensing conferences and try and license their publication and what they do to appropriate publishing companies in different markets. We didn't do any of that. We don't license the magazine at all. Every company we have and every company we do is a Vice-owned company. So what we do, we go to the markets, find the people that we think are right for the brand, and launch it with them. And a lot of what's happened is, we like to call it advanced fanaticism rather than advanced marketing, because we go to places where people are already freaking out for the magazine. And there's a lot of issues with newsstand distribution sometimes because you have to have the right cover star or the right cover mount or do the right things in order to satisfy the retailers, because if you don't, they're going to not shelf you properly and you're not going to get the right sell-through that you require. Being free gave us the flexibility that we can do kind of whatever we want. So we can be totally free with images. We don't have to do cover stories, cover lines. We can just do art if we wish to. In terms of our journalism, we've always had this DIY aesthetic and do-it-yourself aesthetic, and an immersionist aesthetic. So whenever we do any story, we've either done it, been there, done that. If we do a story about Iraq, we don't do third-hand stories, we go to Iraq and do a story. If we want to do Sudan, we get on a plane and find a way and bribe our way in and go to Sudan. But we do it in a way that isn't in a traditional BBC-trained journalist way. It's in a, okay, we're just interested. We're just people who are as interested like you and me, but we're just going to go and do it and we're going to report back for you. Heavy Metal in Baghdad, which some of you may have seen and may not, was an article in the magazine we did in 2004 about a heavy metal band in Iraq. And we were fascinated by the story, so we just went, filmed them, spent a tiny amount of money just driving right into the country. And then it became a bit of a sensation. We've sold it to 30 countries. It's a feature film, won awards at Berlin Film Festival, multiple film festivals around the world. And we're like, the genesis of that is simply a magazine article. I think the magazine industry would be smart to think of every article they do in those terms, because you can take it out of its walls there and put it around the world if it's interesting enough. For us, it's just about making content and distributing it. And the more avenues of distribution that are available to us, whether it's broadband distribution, whether it's mobile, whether it's print, whether it's anything, we're just going to make the content and sort of adapt our format and our idea to that distribution format. The crux of what we do is exactly the same. It's just now it allows us the capabilities to do more. We've started syndicating our content on a licensed model to people worldwide. So Sky have just bought a series from us, the BBC have bought something from us, and obviously digitally we're syndicating. We have a series with Discovery coming next year on an environmental series. Vice Guide Everything is an original commission from MTV, which again is just a bunch of articles from the magazine that we said, okay, they would make great video features, made them, and we're selling them to MTV. Our audience like two types of media, primarily. They index very highly in anything that's sensory and anything that's immediate. So the two things go hand in hand. So magazines and cinema, interestingly, they still rate very highly for our audience because it's a sensory environment, things to touch, and we still have hands, we still have ears, people still like those things because it's nature to us. And obviously mobile and internet rate very highly for us as well. Things that don't rate as well are television and radio and newspapers. Magazine's been going well, growing. This year's going to grow really strongly. I think some people have had a little dip down here before going up, but we went up anyway, which is good. This is our other revenue, stuff that's not magazine, going like this. But this influences this, because all the media plans we do now, we have a magazine component, and this upsurge, which is we're going to grow, 80-90% this year, we get an upsurge here as well. So the magazine actually, what we're doing right now with the magazine for next year is we're going to be investing more back into production in the mag, not necessarily in printing more copies. We have this thing about being scarce that makes us quite priceless, because even though we're free, it's actually quite hard to get hold of for the audience sometimes, so it creates excitement and community and buzz trying to get hold of a copy, rather than the other free model, which is force it into people's hands, which we don't do. We do very much the opposite. So for us, it's a piece of art. It's a collector's item. It's something that we love. It's also a business card and a calling card, and it's something in the physical world which we think is beautiful, and we're going to actually invest more money into making it more beautiful next year.